Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is Igil Jenjen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, this is Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of Let Talk the Ting, Unfiltered. People, today is Monday. No, gosh, you see, when your mind gets so accustomed with these days. Today's Tuesday, people, and we change the time. So we ain't going to take long with this set of old talk because it's a real thing to talk till we start the thing right now. And pleasure Trinidad and Tobago.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
People, I do love my country. I know there's this gentleman called Harvey Boris. He always says, I love my country. And we need to love our country more than ever, especially now. So you all know I always like to bring a little Black history or something that will give us some information about not only just about people of African descent, but anything that I find interesting. But this happens to be about Black inventors.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today. I mean, if you love potato chips, they gotta go because a man named George Crumb, a chef in New York, had sent French fries out with a meal and a customer complained. So what did Mr. Crumb do? He sliced potatoes so thin, fried them up, dumped a bunch of salt on them, and sent them out. And that is the American delight of potato chips. They gotta go. When you're in the bathroom, Lotta Newman patented the first hairbrush with synthetic bristles in 1898, and she's just the third Black American woman to ever receive a patent. Now, I know this isn't going to affect those skinheads very much. In 1892, George Sampson of Dayton, Ohio received patent number 476,416 for what is the forerunner of the modern dryer we use today. It's going to suck dry on your clothes outside. In the late 1880s, Samuel Scotron of Pennsylvania patented the curtain rod. Ooh, that's going to piss off some white girls. It's going to be really hard to plan racist rallies without a color monitor. Invented by Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, he is also on 3 of the original 9 patents of the IBM PC that came out in 1981. Did you know in 1897, Albert Crowell in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, developed a mechanized ice cream scoop. You know, the click click that separates the ice cream from the spoon, changing the way ice cream is served. And if you're racist and an ice cream lover, it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse. Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, pioneered many of the methods we have today to enjoy ice cream, including the way we salt it. Another thing about being a racist, you're going to have to give up the freezer and frozen foods, because Frederick McKinley Jones of Ohio was orphaned at 9 years old with a 6th grade education. A young biracial boy grew up to invent Thermo King, which is the reason why we have frozen foods that are shipped and stored in stores and our homes. You got to give up ice cream and frozen pieces? So if you still want to be a racist, there are some things you're going to need to purge from your life. If you would, just put it out on a curb. I'll send some trucks around to pick it up, and we'll go give it to real Americans who really need it. Have a great day.
Guess you didn't know. Those are things I'm learning also. And I saw this beautiful dance by indigenous people, powwow, and I thought it was just, because you know I'm into dance in terms of adjudicating dance. So once I see anything of that nature, I always enjoy it. So I hope you enjoy this also. Beautiful. Teach them the culture and their culture when they are young, and I'm sure they will have an understanding of who they are. And then I saw this, and this is so gorgeous. This is a self-expression. I don't know the dancer, but I felt it was really beautiful.
Amen. 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 Let me tell you something, children. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I let it shine, let it shine to show my lover. I wanna tell you that everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. And everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. I let it shine, let it shine to show my love.
That's beautiful. Is so people, this is, did you know this is something about Mahatma Gandhi that may shock you? It may be something you already know. You remember that in Africa, I can't remember which one of the African countries, they were taking down his Mahatma Gandhi's statue from universities. So listen to this.
They taught you to worship Mahatma Gandhi as a saint. But here's the history they left out. Gandhi wasn't just the man in robes preaching peace. In South Africa, he openly called black Africans Kafirs, a racial slur, and fought to keep Indians separated from them. His goal: Indians ranked above Africans, even if still below whites. One of his very first battles there, lobbying for separate entrances for Africans and whites. That was his definition of justice. And his personal life: disturbing. Gandhi preached celibacy, but to test himself. He slept naked with young girls, including his own 16-year-old grandniece. Even his politics weren't as revolutionary as you were told. He partnered with Britain, argued against rapid industrialization, and pushed for a village model that kept India economically weak. The truth is, Gandhi was a complicated man, but schools and monuments turned him into a flawless saint by erasing his racism, his hypocrisy, and his abuse. History isn't holy, it's messy. And the more you read, the more you'll see the holes in the heroes you were told to adore. Like, share, and follow if you think it's time to question the myths we were forced to swallow.
Oh, you know, again, these are not me saying these things. I am just bringing the information that is out there. So, you know, our brothers and sisters in Jamaica and Cuba continue to reel from the effects of Hurricane Melissa. That was hurricane. Listen to this blogger and what he has to say. I hope I don't cry.
So let me paint a picture for you, for everybody who don't know what's really happening. So all of us are trying to get food and supplies to pretty much 3 to 4 parishes: St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James. Well, and Trelawney. Yeah, but then there are persons in St. Mary too. So pretty much 6 or 7 parishes that are that have areas where people are trapped. People are completely trapped from Tuesday. Today's Saturday. Yeah? The people who are trapped are people who are surrounded by dead bodies. A whole lot of dead bodies. You have seen the videos yourself, so you know it's not we making this thing up. I could say something to you. Why don't you ask the JDF soldiers who flew over the area what they have seen? You know why I said that? I got intel from persons who were on the operation of flying around, and the things that they have seen cannot be spoken of. It has left them traumatized. Why the hell are we bringing supplies to a set of people who needs to be evacuated from an area where they are surrounded by dead bodies and dead animals? They're surrounded by debris. There's no house. There's nothing. It's now night time. There's no electricity, so you know it's darkness. And they're hungry, really hungry. and people who are making phone calls and doing all kind of shit. It's Saturday. It's freaking Saturday. We have a national stadium, we have a national arena, and we have hotels. When the COVID period came, there were hotels that the government actually took a hold of and got people who needed to be quarantined in hotels. For the love of God, Andrew Holness, the power in a phone on. There are Jamaicans that are every single minute are dying, like dying of hunger. No water. Some people not drink no water from Tuesday. Hold on, let me just. There are people who, I got a call this evening from a friend of mine, well, one of my investors, and he's in St. James. And when he called me, he said, we said we're okay. He said we're okay. He said we made it, we're alive. How he spoke to me, because I didn't know it, I didn't even know who it was, because I didn't have that number. I don't know where he got it, but it's when he told me who he was. I'm gonna say Odin. His name is Odin Scarlett. Yeah, and he said that we're at a school or high school, and we just get a little charge and stuff. And he said that there's 19 dead bodies in just his little area. Him said 19 him count. Jamaica and to the rest of the world, we have to evacuate every single person that we're seeing alive and seeing videos of. We have to evacuate, meaning the helicopters that are here, the big helicopter. Please, for the love of God, don't just carry food and drop it, give them like them a dog or puss or drunk. Can we take our brothers and our sisters to the national stadium, the national arena? No, like no. There needs to be an evacuation. The helicopters have big flashlights. Take up the citizens. You cannot be opening school next week while this is happening. We're not exaggerating. If member of parliaments from areas can come and tell it for themselves, Dayton Campbell and others and other people who have seen, the videos are coming out where the people are telling us the entire area stink of dead animals and people. There are people who are submerged underwater. Possibly some lie down for outstop. In the sun at today, night, catch them out there. I beg, I pray to God, somebody find them. There are communities that we're getting 1 or 2 words out of, where them cut off from everything. Cut off. We need to do evacuation to get the people them at a central location. Everybody. The stadium, the national arena, it can hold them. Our hotels, get them to a central point where we can aid our brothers and sisters. No, Jamaicans, can you please, for the love of God, all of us, go out into the friggin' street. Andrew, I don't want us to go out into the streets because it's going to be ugly. At this point, it's going to be ugly. Andrew Michael Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, please, you do not have any good advisors around you. It is not rocket science. We cannot be bringing food to give to people who don't have no house. Who not talk about tarpaulin. You know what is tarpaulin under the sun at? There are labor rights that are dying. There are PMP personnel that are dying. Independents are dying. There are children who are dying by the minute. Like literal minute. There are communities that are cut off, that are not in the town centers of these places, like small little communities that are, we know nothing of these people. They are going to die. They are dying as we speak. And some of you don't want to hear it, and you think that is we're talking about doom and gloom. We're talking about the one or two people who get information out to us who them trust. Then call we. Them call we. To make we who them trust with the information to give to the broader public. Right now as we speak, there are people at parties here in Jamaica who don't have light, and don't have internet, and life is okay, and a drive on a nice pretty cars, and not outraged by the fact that there are hundreds. I'm not asking. There are hundreds of Jamaicans that are presumably dead. I spoke to a young lady who was by PriceMart today with me, who went down there yesterday. She said that it is the stench that greeted them. We need all the counselors and psychiatrists and psychologists and social workers who could meet us at that central location with us evacuating every single life. Every single life in these communities. Take them up. Take them up. It's a matter of national security at this point. It's a humanitarian emergency. I wish to God there's more that I could do. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., we are bringing hundreds of packages. Myself and Andre Stevens and his team. I went by the by his place today, and you all saw the video. Packages on top of packages, and I said to them, the people needs the packages, but why are we bringing packages and leave it to our brothers and sisters and tell them good night? We'll bring it, go get them now. Look at something in our red bag. There's nowhere to eat, there's nowhere to sleep. We're bringing toilet tissue. There's no toilet. There are people who have not showered. Them not bathed from possibly Monday. It's now Saturday. No teeth, no brush. They are babies. They are elderly. Can we please evacuate the people? Please. No. Andrew, no.
The reason why I play this whole video is that is a natural disaster. And here how he speaks about what Jamaica looks like. But we have somebody who is another prime minister. He's begging the prime minister of Jamaica. I'm going on what he's saying. And saying that his advisors are not good. And instead of dropping the food in the helicopters into parishes, I think that's what they call it, where it's dead bodies and animals, take the people out instead. And he's saying that the prime minister is being ill-advised. Imagine have another prime minister of another country who is caught in war and then saying that, paraphrasing, that she's not. But if you have paired yourself like a Bluetooth device to the president of America, then you're caught in war. Anybody could well be able to come to that conclusion. That is a natural disaster in Jamaica and Cuba. Natural disaster. But a war is a man-made thing. And if Melissa could do that to Jamaica, imagine what a war would do to the whole Caribbean. We ready for them kind of thing? That is why they keep saying CARICOM, and all of the Caribbean leaders keep saying the Caribbean is a zone of peace. Listen to a survivors. Listen to a survivor of Melissa.
Hello guys, this is a documentary of the outside village. So here we have grandmother and the stepson, De Niro, using my dresser as, a shelter. See? We're drying our pillows. That's the mattress over there. I made a small line. See? That's our kitchen over there. That's the table. That's our little shelter right there. We're trying to sort out stuff. Everything. You can see in the house, everything. See? Our. Oh. See? Everything. That's over Jody, which part they get the chicken, they egg them from. Up the south where we turn. Yeah, see? Yes, over grandma there. This over grandma. The way out of Petersfield. The J-Mar house, the Miss Donna. This a Marva house. River Broad. It is higher than that. It is higher than that. This is for the yellow wall out there, sir. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's the kitchen. The stove is still working. We cook on it. I try to tidy up. I yesterday go first. The roof yesterday go first, and then Abbey room, and then the bathroom. It's an Abbey room. It's an Abbey room. So the washroom here, the bathroom. The water done. Look at the breadfruit tree. You see that the breadfruit tree dropped down? Breadfruit tree dropped down. This is the boy them room. With the fridge and stuff.
No, she's recording this and there's a little laughter and thing. I think that is her coping mechanism. I think if she didn't do that, I think that is how she's dealing with it, because she's speaking about this house as though the house has a roof and everything is all right. The whole house is devastated. Every time she's talking about, I think that's how we're coping. That's why the guy who did the blog, he's saying that they need to have psychologists and psychiatrists because people would need that. And again, I'm saying that is just a hurricane. Look at the devastation. Look how they're living now since Melissa. But again, it has somebody who seemed to be caught in war. War is worse than that. War is worse than that. We ready for that kind of thing? Listen to another one. It's important that we listen and we see the reality. Because sometimes you're talking to people, and but when you show them the reality, they say, God, boy. That's why I'm showing you all reality and to show you what our brothers and sisters in Jamaica is going through right now. Our brothers and sisters, well, we're not hearing from Cuba. I ain't getting any news out of Cuba as such, but I'm showing you what is happening in Jamaica. Listen to this one.
It is heartbreaking. I never thought in a million years that I would be in this situation trying to get help, and with little to no communication. We can't reach no officials, no emergency teams. The best help we have received after the hurricane is from security personnel from the Lakove police station who tried to get us medical assistance, but today nobody has come because they too are flooded. They have lost their homes, and we're just not sure what to expect from this.
To be lost in the middle of an ocean, or have no place to lay your head, to be caught in a web of indifference, be cast aside like you're just as dead, to be forgotten like the wind of yesterday. neglected and beaten and worn. The pain that you're feeling is just as real as the ground you're standing on. But it's not over.
Listen to this one.
They don't have no house down there. Majority of things them down here, so they flat, cave-in, flat. Every roof gone, every roof. As long as you see line down this, the roof
Getting worse now we down there.
But we have life. We don't record no death run here so far, so we're good.
Which is important. If you have life, you have a
Life is good. Life is
You
good.
can replace the buildings, you can
But hey,
Alright,
if this time not teach me nothing.
What is it? What's blocking
You see, the other day, I was saying to myself that people praise material things so much. And today is the day when everybody asks me, all right, me have life. Everybody appreciate life. At this moment, no big house no mean nothing, no big car no mean nothing, no land no mean nothing. Life is everything right now. Everybody, all right, boy, me lose my house, but me have life. We have life. My house, me lose my shop, me lose everything, but me have life. And at that we say, togetherness and life, nothing with vanity. Anybody want brag and boast now, what them want brag about? Homelessness. Rich and poor, we're homeless. All are we homeless.
Rich and poor,
Yeah. All my life, me never know a movie alone, me ever see them sitting here and I never see them. Who signed up that script here? No, who put in a script we don't know about in a real life?
Jesus, Lord have mercy. This is El Salvador sending aid to Jamaica.
On behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, expressing absolute gratitude and indeed our warmest welcome to the delegations of El Salvador that have been arriving over the past 2 days and that complete their delegation and their humanitarian donation tonight. I express on behalf of Prime Minister Andrew Holness directly to President His Excellency Nayib Bukele, who has from the bottom of his heart and with the graces of God sent this excellent delegation of 300 persons from the firefighters in the health, from a medical mission, the civil protection, search and rescue, as well as the humanitarian aid organization and logistics teams, which will be deployed across the 13 communities that have been identified as having had the greatest destruction as a result of the Hurricane Melissa. We did not need to ask, and they came. They are here with the goodness of their heart, with technical expertise, with their own equipment. One of the incredible strengths of the El Salvadorian team that has come is that they come equipped, but they don't only come equipped to sustain themselves. They have come with generators, they have come with inflatable boats for where flooding occurs, they have come with pumps that get water and mud out of places that have been inundated that need to recover from floods. They have come with chainsaws to help clear debris. They've come with mobile units, tented units, to allow them to deliver healthcare, because they've also brought a medical contingent. They've come with basic healthcare and rescue equipment in order to be able to deliver to those who have been hardest hit.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that hospitals, of course, would have devastated. So this was November the 2nd. TNT3 News, that says Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tilton says a field hospital is scheduled to arrive within the next 24 hours for deployment at the tongue of Black River in the southern parish of St. Elizabeth. So I hope that that was delivered so that they could start to treat. And I think that's one of the areas that was really badly hit by Melissa. And again, I'm saying this is a hurricane, the whole of Jamaica mash up. You see the survivors, some taking it different ways, but it is a shock to their system, and everybody treat with these things differently. Imagine a war. Hey, oh yeah. Oh God. So let me come to Trinidad. So this budget that this government, the UNC government that people went out and voted for until they said they'll get something better than the People's National Movement, who managed the economy that you didn't feel it. You really didn't feel it. You heard Dr. Rowley would have said, tighten your belt and all them kind of thing. And come remember, they keep talking about that. He say you raise gas prices 2 times, 3 times, nobody in rat. And they take all them little stupid talk and made a decision. And Dr. Rowley take an increase in his salary, not factoring in that it was the SRC, Salary Reviews Commission, who brought the changes from back in 2013 when they first had carried to come up as a and the PP government, and they refused it because enough, along with members of the opposition PNM at the time, they refused it. Tell them go back and do the work, and they came back. Dr. Keith Christopher already accepted, but he didn't accept for himself. Nobody don't talk about that. He accepted that salary, and all parliamentarians, including the opposition at that time, last year, that included Kamla Prasad, Bisesa, Saddam Hussein, Khadija Amin, and all them, they received the increases also, along with 900 plus senior public officers, but nobody don't talk about that. Everybody just hold on till he take his money, and based on that, they went and vote UNC. So they did the budget. The UNC has been in office since April the 28th, and they came in, they had 2 budgets, in fact. And this one here, the last one they have, it was hailed by them to some type of success or something Tanko would have done so out of this world. That is my impression. But then you hear people talking about the budget has collapsed because the oil prices that they peg the budget onto some 70-something dollars. Oil is selling at, I think, $50 to $55. So that doesn't show a big difference that that budget can hold. And then if you wanted any confirmation, the increase, the negotiations that they promised public officers through Felicia Thomas, the president of PSA, that they vote for start negotiations from 10%. Excuse me. Everybody expected to hear any budget. Well, this amount of money is put aside. But nothing has been put aside in the first budget and in this budget. And when the Minister of Finance was asked, I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember word for word, he is saying that they can't put aside no money for public officers because negotiations didn't start yet. But if you, the Minister of Finance, because it's you direct the CPO, I don't know why people feeling that the CPO can make decision on he or she own. You is the one instruct and would have said if whether your prime minister tell you to say that whatever it is, but you the CPO, that negotiation will start at 10% for 2 periods. At 6 years, and I told you all here already, you can't go in front of the CPO with no 6-year period. It's not less than 3 years and not more than 5 years. So you have to negotiate 1 period at a time. So for them 2 periods, the negotiation started at 10%. So common sense will tell you that it's 5% for each period. 14, 15, 16, 5%, 17, 18, 19, 5%. But the salient point is this. You is the one have to instruct the CPO. So if all you say start negotiating at 10%, all you can afford to have averaged how much that would have cost public officers in salaries and increases, and give an approximation. Nothing. That should tell you something about that budget. Our budget has failed. So this was in the Guardian, and this is the effect of all them raising and tariff and all them taxes and all that that the budget has implemented. George, budget measures an extinction event for restaurants. The restaurant industry in Trinidad and the closure of Trotter's Gulf City, San Fernando, starkly illustrate just how acute the pressures have become. Restaurant owners say steep new alcohol taxes, rising national insurance contribution, escalating electricity and cooking gas costs, and higher rents are colliding to crush already thin profit margin, forcing full service operators to make impossible choices. Peter George Jr., CEO of Trotters Group, told Sunday Business Guardian that the decision to shut the Gulf City outlet was driven by an unrelenting convergence of pressures. The post-COVID recovery had been slow, consumer spending has shifted, and steep taxes and spiraling input costs are creating an extinction event for full-service restaurants, he said. George described how increasingly high-conscious customers can now achieve 4 times the value by buying alcohol at retail stores and drinking at home, undermining a crucial center for restaurants. And he goes on to say that Derek Chin, chairman of Movie Tongue and the Dachin group of companies, describe the environment as one that only those with tough disposition can endure. Rise in crime, reduced disposable income, high utility costs, and labor inefficiencies are squeezing operators from all sides. And I think one restaurant, something out at the close. So people, all those are indications that this budget has done nothing to alleviate the stress or economic challenges of the people at Trinidad and Tobago. It has just brought more. After they fired 10,500 CPEP workers, URP workers, reforestation workers, and so many workers. I hear the number is about 50,000, 60, anywhere around there. But you take them people out of the economic system. They are the lower rung of the system, some of them, and what you expect. I predict, this is my opinion, that the IMF cited soon. So let me continue. I want to play you all this video, and some of you may have seen it before, but it's important because when I say, in my opinion, that Kamla Prasad-Bissessar is a racist prime minister, I put the word drunk also because it's not I alone say so. I never call the woman drunk on my own. It came off other people saying those things. I never hear her contradict it and say, no, it's not true, whatever. So I saying what I'm saying. International people calling she drunk. I'm just saying what I'm saying. But when it comes to the racist part, I speak on it based on things like this I'm going to play just now. And the fact that when the CPEP workers were considered, which may not true, to be African people and PNM people, they're out of jobs now. If you go at firing 10,500 people just so, and then a next set of thousands here, next set of thousands here, for people that you believe to be PNM because they say PNM is African people, only discriminatory and racist. But listen to MP Stuart Young first, and then we would hear what Comrade Preston George had to say. He went more into details, and there you will see the racism and discrimination.
02, line item 22, short-term employment. You have reduced the short-term employment for the Port of Spain City Corporation by $1 million. The short-term employment is being utilized to assist many vulnerable families in the city of Port of Spain, in particular some who have lost their employment under CPEP and URP. Why are you reducing it by $1 million? And I know as a fact, because we've seen it in these documents, when you get to other corporations like Shogunas, Pinal and others, there are increases. Why have you decreased Port of Spain?
Why?
Listen to the horror, the discrimination and racism.
So now these two corporations doing the same work, see about the same type, with, well, you see, the PNM thought so. So they give both of them almost the same thing to function, UNC, PNM. When the UNC came in office, they said, no, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. The UNC now take away from ARIMA 12 million, you know, my friends. And the corporation has to function with 12 million less. The borrow. But Shogunas increase by 20 million, my friends. It ain't done there, you know. Diego Martin. The Diego Martin borough under the PNM was given $17,450,000 under the PNM, which is very close to Shogunas under the PNM, and a little more, yeah, about 200,000 more than the Shogunas, 200,000 more, right? You know what the UNC gave the Diego Martin borough? 11 million. 11,100,000 short of $6,350,000 minus, meaning less than what they got from the PNM. Yeah. The Penal Debe Corporation under the PNM had a standard thing where like everybody got around 17 million and more, just above that 17, 18. That's the thing, everybody, 17, 18 million. The reason I'm saying this, when you look at the corporations as it relates to where the PNM seems to have won these corporations and the election and is in charge, where mostly is people of African descent, my friends. Mostly is people of African descent. Monies to maintain the borough and these corporations have been slashed by huge amounts, my friends. Well calculated. Because the black people we are talking about. So when you're talking about treatment and fair treatment, it is clear that the PNM government under the oppressive Dr. Rowley was able to give each corporation around the same amount to manage their affairs for the year, my friend. Yeah. The UNC came in office and without any fear, they ain't afraid what people say. You could call them racist, you could call them what you want. We in charge and we will take advantage of you for your dunceness too. We will, you see all the black people children who was able to listen to we and all they will pay for that. Who playing that all they don't know us? Because all they believe that we like all they more than people who look like all they. Well, we will take away the monies. So in all the corporation, the garbage collection, the water to fix the road, and these are main cities and capital of our city and thing, you know, my friends. Yeah. So what the corporations have to do now, with that kind of money, and the drop in the amount, they have to send home the workers too. Yeah. So when the year starts, the corporation will not have monies, because what they do, they take away the monies to manage the corporation. So the corporation will have to find way to subsidize, and who then will have to pay for that? Not the very corporation workers, because that's the trend. The government have decided, so long as you look like PNM, you're PNM, you're sounding like PNM partner, we will damage you. We will damage you. That is the politics here. That is the politics. A politics of hatred, my friends. racial discrimination, you know, systematic, supported by government, you know. This comes from the budget, you know, my friends. This is racism, you know. This here is racism, you know. If the CPEP and the URP and if all the feel that wasn't enough, look at the allocations for the corporations where African people seem to be most employed, my friends. Go and look. It's right here. I have it here. My friends, this is racism and discrimination, my friend. Political discrimination, my friends. That is what it is. And they are talking about Maduro, my friends. And they are talking about Maduro.
Yeah. I make opinion based on the things that I'm seeing, and nobody can vex with me for saying that. There's a racial discrimination there. The corporations that cross the Caroni Bridge get millions of dollars while they cut the corporations in the East-West Corridor. And the East-West Corridor is who? They say it's PNM people. So they're punishing PNM people, and they say PNM people is African people. So the punishment, they want African people, this is my opinion, in Trinidad and Tobago to go down on their knees and beg Indian people for help. You see like how James was Coolie Town back in the 1845, 46 with the indentured laborers when they came here, and they used to be begging for charity on the streets of St. James. And they used to go and end up in the poorhouse, and when they're there, they get buried in the poor man's cemetery. They want we to turn to that. I don't know if it will satisfy some need or some inferiority complex they feel about themselves and about the lineage. This is because but you all should be happy. All the Dalit great-grandparents came here because in India, based on the inhuman caste system, that was, and the ironic thing, that was manipulated and used against the people in India by the British, the white man, the colonizer. Them went into India and used that system and made that system get so corrupt. The Brahmin and the higher caste and the Dalit, the untouchables, a whole nation of people who them job is just to clean the street of filth and garbage and cesspit and all them kind of thing. Those are those who run from India because they had no choice, they had no future. They couldn't go in the temples, nothing. They had to stay on the outside and watch. And they used to put, understand, a set of like stone and things so that they can even come close. And they're saying in the temple, they're far away because if them shadow fall on a higher caste, the higher caste going and do puja to cleanse themselves because it was taboo. They wouldn't run from and come Trinidad. All they should be happy that all their great-grandmother and great-grandfather would have worked hard and built until all they reach. Instead, all they hold on to that like some inferiority, something. Don't want to admit that part of history and want to take it away from we who come from kings and queens from Africa. That has nothing to do with it. It wasn't we who do that. We came from in Africa. They created enslavement, chattel slavery to bring we down to nothing. We have risen from that again, but it looked like Canopus Services and the UNC want to bring African people back to slave, and they will be the modern colonizer. They will take the place of the white man because like they feel after the white man is dead. So listen to who it is we have in Parliament at Trinidad and Tobago from the UNC side.
Dangerous drugs found in terms of cocaine in the grams, we have 8,885 grams of cocaine that was found. You know, the member said that they find more, but he quoted 186 kilograms. Last time I checked, 8,000 is more than 1,000. So our SOE has in fact bear more fruit than the PNM will ever see because they don't know how to coordinate.
What foolishness is line talking? Kilograms is more than grams. The man don't even know that. And that's who's standing in the parliament. And not only added to that, the prime minister of this country, she didn't know the soldiers get called back to Tetron and whatever. She didn't know school was let out early, nothing. But she know since America has been blowing up boats in the waters in the Caribbean, and they say, without anybody that cocaine and all that, she's saying since that happened, ganja and cocaine price increase. You don't know as a prime minister that your whole army is the head of the National Security Council. You didn't even know Friday when all the bacchanal going on that the army get called back to base. You didn't know school get called out early, nothing at all. But you know ganja and cocaine price gone up since they started blow up the boat and them in the water. Look, hey. Look now. Hey, listen to our next one. Who we saddle with in our parliament. Listen to him. And I didn't even feel I listened to that whole 3 minutes. I just a little piece on the table.
All right, well, that's not clear based on what I'm looking at. It has the revised bid 9,100,000, and then what?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you to the Minister, 00306, remuneration to board members. This figure was formerly 359,000. It is now 545. Could you explain the increase?
Time, in so much that these figures are, again,
Chairman, I'll accept the information in writing.
we will put
What
it
I
in
would
writing.
like is to know which boards, do you know which boards are covered under this line item?
The Advisory Friendly Society board member.
Just one board?
One board.
Okay. Yes. And you don't have a reason right in front of you for the increase. Do you have more members on the board? Have you increased the remuneration to the board?
The board is comprised of 9 members and 1 secretary, and that is the figure associated with a functional board.
So the former figure of 359,000 would have been insufficient to pay?
This is what we know to be the figures associated with the 9 members and the 1 secretary.
So do you have a raise to pay?
Again, the society is now transferred to the ministry. It was not here before, so that is what is now before the ministry as part of the responsibility of the Ministry of Labour.
All right, so given that there's a disparity between what was allocated before and what's allocated now, and the fact that you may need a little more time to give me the answer, I'll take the answer in writing.
I said I wasn't playing the whole thing back and I helped myself. You see how Duncy looking and how Duncy singing? That used to be the president of PSA, Leroy Baptiste. He can't say nothing. And the permanent secretary, whoever the woman next to you, like she don't have the answers, nothing. Them is win we parliament. That's what people went and vote for. I was telling earlier, I was telling public officers and public officers, my own comrades, and they was cussing me. And I telling them, don't study the expertise. Because getting even the UNC, they're gonna make his senator if they win, and they're gonna make him minister of labor. They cost me. I tell them, oh, let me take the 4%. It's not enough, but let me take the 4%, free up yourself from that, go back and negotiate. And we'll be up to a different year now. Bargaining year to negotiate now. We'll be up to 2021, 22. They cost me. Because I put on a PNM jersey and I went in a PNM sport. I have custom going to PNM sport. But I not a part of no election for PS and all that at my age, whatever it is. I said, should I take out pictures in my jersey? The cost me and say, I only tell them public officers to take it because I a PNM and I said this. Well, yeah, what they get? All they get 4%, all they get 5%, all they get nothing. What they get? You can have done get me 4%, get we arrest in move up on the correct salary scale from 2013. You know what we brothers and sisters public officers who retire in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 22, 23, 24, and this year 25, and they retire the wrong salary scale, and they retire 13. So they was to get $10 for all them years. They only get about 3. When they go get the rest of the money and all, let's sit down there or some the PSA, look like Felicia Thomas girl, Venture and Moko and you girl. I still put up women in labor movement and your face to the front, but you should be ashamed to have your face and you all dance. The Venture and Moko and you girl for where you do the public officers. When the tears and the cry should fall on you for that wickedness that you do to public officer, and public officers just sit down and take it, but all they know to cost me. Anyway, let me continue. That's what we have in we parliament and this. Listen to this one. Well, this one make me pause. Or the good thing wherever pause it is, it could be P-A-U-S-E or the next P-O-R-E-S. Or they make all the decision. Listen to this.
At the opening ceremony of the Ramlila Heritage Symposium on Saturday, Chairman of the University of Trinidad and Tobago UTT, Professor Selwyn Cudjoe, underscored the importance in the Ramayana's role in shaping the social and spiritual consciousness of Indo-Trinidadians.
In its original form, the narrative was told over 40 days and covered the period from Rama's birth to his coronation and would be addressed to an audience from a couple of 100 people to a few thousands, each installment of the narrative occupying no less than 3 hours. Needless to say, Indians throughout India performed and read this work.
He revealed the UTT's intention to launch a certificate in Ramlila studies as a permanent academic offering.
The Academy also intends to introduce the certificate in Ramlila studies as a standalone permanent offering, ensuring that the sacred tradition continues to be preserved, researched, and passed on to future generations. UTT remains committed to positioning Trinidad and Tobago as a leader in the preservation and creative interpretation of Indo-Caribbean traditions and culture.
He challenged the notion of education that excludes cultural literacy and also called on the UWI St. Augustine campus to follow suit.
You can't say you're educated Trini and you go to UW, you come to the University of Trinidad and Tobago, you know nothing about the culture, nothing about the history. It must become a fundamental course so that everyone walks out here knowing what the Ramlilas are, what Huse is, what the Orisha Fest. We must, else we are not educated.
And lecturer in Indian Diaspora Studies at the UWI St. Augustine campus, Dr. Sherry-Ann Singh, emphasized Ramlila's role in building inter-village networks, becoming the earliest agent of interaction and cohesion between communities.
Many couldn't travel to the estates because they were not allowed off the estates without written permission, and that was only granted twice per year. So this movement of people from village to village to Ramleelas happened when they moved off the estates. And since getting from village to village then was a long, arduous journey, it was common for these visitors to the Ramleela villages to stay there for either the entire duration or part of the Ramleela.
This symposium is being hosted in collaboration with the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, the NCIC, the Shivagana Organization, the National Ramleela Council, and the Indian High Commission. Sonolala, TTT News.
Now listen, this is a cosmopolitan country. I have no issue with Ramleela studies and the giving of diploma, certificate, faith, and all that, and teaching people or the citizens of this country about Ramleela. My issue is fellow Kojo. He's a professor of Africana studies. This man does bend himself and twist himself and contort himself, in my opinion, for Indian people to like you. Boy, just be yourself now. The sea Satmara say he despise you because you ain't belong not a folk for your people. You know, you is a professor of Africana studies or whatever the case may be. You can advocate while you're talking so high. You can advocate for them to have Africana studies too, Orissa studies too, Chinese studies too, Syrian Lebanese studies too, and all the other races, indigenous people who was here before we, their studies too. Eh? You always contorting yourself for Indian people to like you. And you know what? In my opinion, they must just laugh behind your back and call it the N-word. Use the next one of the LBAs and them. You don't have a problem going on your hand on your knees and skin on your bum. See? That's my opinion, and I speak out my opinion. Who don't like it, they know what they could do. This is unfiltered. But I just talking what I'm seeing. I have nothing against Ramleela studies. I like the whole thing and that and go on. I like all them things. But when you're advocating, they put you there to talk that talk. They always put in the African and them sell out and them to talk what them want to talk. Because if they're talking, they feel like a song racial. If they do it. So me, I'm not against no Ramleela, nothing. I'm saying, tell when could you stand up there and you ain't fighting to get Africana studies. And here who the man link up with the Ramleela thing. The Ministry of Tertiary and Education thing, so you don't know what they're going already. That the man who didn't realize that the Tertiary Education Ministry didn't exist for 10 years and come to talk about PNM left the ministry in a mess and it had no vacancy and you instead to come and fix it. And they're trying to tell he, Santa that ministry exists 10 years now, it's only now it come back and only thing he want to hear that now. Look now. Tell when Kojo you sell out. The sea Satmara say he despise you. Imagine that. And you're going to man funeral and you still want to lick bottom. Yeah, you know. Satmara was like Martin Luther King. Why does he was like Mahatma Gandhi? How he could be like Martin Luther King when he marched in civil rights movement, all races was involved in it. Satmaraj was only fighting for the Hindu community, which is Indian people. So we could put the two together. Look, I am all despise you. So listen to, we in a SOE again since this government came in after a month or whatever, we have been in a SOE since. All our constitutional rights are suspended. We have no rights under the Constitution. And to me, that is a crime plan. They scupper the PNM and the PNM had their SOE and talk about political gimmickry, and that can help whoever the case may be, whoever. Now, after all the talk, the SOE is a crime plan. And then they want to boast crime is down. Now, if you have a SOE, logic will dictate that crime is down. But hello, we hear horrific crimes every day. So I don't understand. Is this SOE to keep the people from coming out on the streets and marching because we're sending over 10,000 something CPEP workers, European workers, contract workers, people in the public service, all the atrocities that you're carrying out, racial discrimination? Is it that you're afraid of that? That is why nobody can say nothing. So at the end of the day, we'll be beaten down. we will be so fearful, we will be so tired and so stressful, we don't even want to take part in the democratic process no more, and we just be the will of people of Indian descent in this country. I just asking a question. We become the servants of people of Indian descent in this country. The people of Indian descent become the new colonizers. I just asking a question. And when I talk, I don't talk about all India. But as I keep saying now, if all they don't think like I'm a predecessor and all ain't saying nothing, well, then I have to conclude all they thinking the same way. So, my member of parliament warning us and cautioning us about this SOE.
Mr. Speaker, I just remind the country what the mover of this motion said in his opening. The initial crisis was successfully dealt with. We have taken the time and we've shown constitutionally what must exist for an extension, none of which has been fulfilled. So, Mr. Speaker, we all know that the government will do what it wants because they are busy boasting all over that that is how they plan to operate. But Trinidad and Tobago, my closing words to you are remember today, remember the caution of today, and make sure that our rights are not continuously rolled over and suspended with states of emergency that are clearly the UNC's crime plan. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's my member of parliament, the Honorable Stuart R. Young SC. I make no bones about it. I support my member of parliament because he had us vote for. I live in his constituency. He had us support. So let me continue. So I wonder if the goodly Prime Minister, who is the head of National Security Council, who didn't know Friday that the army get called back down to base and school children get sent home early, but she know that ganja and cocaine. I wonder if she know one day after the Defense Force was ordered to return, ordered to down to Tetron lockdown, the next day they were ordered to return to normal duties. I wonder if she's aware of that. I know. I understand she was in Tobago today. I understand it is alleged she went to one of them school. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Signal Hill or whatever. The whole school lockdown, nobody couldn't leave. So if I didn't want to see the Prime Minister and I wanted to go home, so if I wasn't feeling good, I want to go wherever. I locked down in that school, I can't come out. I had to wait till they done all the children. What? And all they talk about Dr. Rawlings, I was a dictator. Dr. Rawlings was a tyrant and a dictator. But you know, they know the Prime Minister all over the world that she's a drug. Nobody out in the world know Dr. Rawlings has no tyrant and dictator. That is local thing. That is in-house thing in Trinidad. But they know she has an international drunk. Look now. Yeah. Tobago, I see some pictures coming Tobago like them and all bending backwards. She promising them all kind of thing. The People's National Movement get Tobago 3 fast ferries. They get the biggest money in budget and all kind of thing, but they cost Dr. Rowley. And then what? Someone, waiters boy are floating. Waiters, we can remember the hell it is. She promised them something, wherever it is. And like them gone with that. Like them head get teeth with that. Tobago, only better than that. Always are proud people. Only better than that. Only better than that. Let me continue. So the government is to cut Venezuela work permit. All of a sudden, let me tell you something. This place sometimes it really ain't real, and you could say that. All the time they were saying the face of crime is the urban youth from the East-West corridor and African people, children who committing crime in this country. All of a sudden, they started, in my opinion, like they started looking at Venezuela. When that happened, so they cut 3,518 Venezuelan work permit. So it means I say these people out of our work too. Them come just like the work permit. So how they supposed to survive in Trinidad? They came as economic migrants. They didn't come here as no asylum seekers, because they had come as asylum seekers and we accepted that. They would be able by UN law or whatever it is to be entitled to everything the citizens that Trinidad and Tobago entitled to. No, so they came as economic migrants, meaning they could work, they will get basic health care and probably have the children who think at school and all that. And I said, they work, they pay it, whatever it is, wherever, they send back the money to Venezuela, they build themselves and the family, wherever it is. That's how the thing was. You take away all these people thing now. And then after say some 200 or something so Venezuelan in jail for crime. Tell me what the crime is. Is it the crime thieving, attempted robbery, or whatever? Or is it that they illegally tried to enter Trinidad and Tobago? Tell me what the crime is. Because all the time we was hearing is the African youth committing crime. All of a sudden, all they want to put it is the Venezuela. Look now. Again, this woman has scared herself. I want to know if Trinidad and Tobago have ICE. And you know, ICE is that the department in America that be rounding up minorities. Thing and away from the mother and had them in cage and all them kind of thing. We have one of that in Trinidad now. Over here, look now. Hey, no, the good old yes. So Coast Guard warning fishermen to fish close to home. Fish close to home. I wonder if it has fish and thing close to home. They're telling them fish close to home and they get them how much meat as well. But the case what the thing is, boy. What the thing is? I'll give me a minute. But I basically way it is. If you go further than that, you will have to end the story out there because things could happen. And close to home, they could get fish so that they could get to sell because there's eat little fish now and then and things. So I hope we in here a thing now way because at a fish so close to home, they didn't really get no fish, they get some little wabi and whatever. I ain't know much about fish and thing, right? I just say so. That is the new thing, Papa. Fish close to home, stay out of them water because think I'm seeing an IR expert in TNT is saying everybody talking about the effects of this situation where this prime minister who the world calling a drunk now because international reporters here, you know, and it's all over the Caribbean news calling she drunk. Right? The posture that she's taking with Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to say the people who don't agree with Kamala Persaud will not be long supporters who agree with you. It's not all that we agree with what this woman is doing in this country. And know it have plenty people don't agree. We should not be lumped with her. She drunk and she cabinet and all them, lump them together with the supporters. And when all them looking at them and talking about Trinidad and Tobago, talk about them. Don't talk like if it's only citizens of this country agree with that thing. We want peace. We want peace. We want to live in peace and harmony. This is a zone of peace. Them who want a warmonger, put them in a separate group. Them from the UNC. Them not from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. Them from the island of United National Congress, where what's his name? Terrell Kojo had dubbed them, I think, UNC. Uncivilized UNC, uncivilized criminal, no, uncivilized national crooks or some kind of thing. So deal with them alone. Them in our own country by themselves, our own island by themselves. So this is what the international relation expert had to say. It was 3 days ago in the newsday. International relation expert Dr. Anthony Gonzalez disagrees with Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Bissessa's openly defiant stance on alleged narco traffickers and her support for U.S. military action over the last 8 weeks, which left 61 suspected narco traffickers dead. He said while it is necessary to take a hard line on suspected drug traffickers, due process must be upheld. Gonzalez's views mirror those of the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, who criticized by U.S. forces to kill suspected drug traffickers. In a statement on October 31st, Turk said, these attacks and their mounting human cost are unacceptable. The U.S. must halt such attack and take all measures necessary to prevent the extrajudicial killing of people aboard these boats, whatever the criminal conduct against them. Fasabi Sessa, who returned to TNT's prime minister for the second term after the UNC-led coalition victory on April 20th general election, has taken a tough stance on Venezuela, a criminal organization operating in the region. Statement December 2nd, I have no sympathy for traffickers. The U.S. military should kill them all violently. In relation to the PN's position, Gonzalez said she is saying certain things which are confusing in a sense because she said she is not in favor of the invasion of Venezuela. On the other hand, she's saying you should kill these drug traffickers at sea. I think she's the only prime minister in the region that I know, even among some of the countries in the world, I have heard say that. Even those that are pro-American, I don't hear them saying that Gonzalez told Newsday on November the 1st. U.S. congressmen have been saying that you should give these people access to the court because you don't know who you are killing, right? So I think that is a mistake that she has made it very early. You could be among drug traffickers, but that is an extreme. You could be against drug traffickers, but this is an extreme measure because I'm sure innocent people are passing in the rush. And you go on to see some other things. And Kamala Prasad Sessa has doubled down on she conversation with killing violently. There's something. I don't know if Kamala Prasad Sessa as a woman is one of them women and them who does male identify with man. So anything the man say, they so want to be a part of the man life or whatever the case may be, that is saying whatever the man say too. They don't have a voice of their own. Or is it a thing with Indian women? They say it is alleged subservient and just have to follow what the man's husband say. Is it a combination of those things? That this woman is mirroring and behaving just like Donald Trump. We are infatuated with Trump. You want Trump? Wait, what it is? She's mirroring, confusing because same thing. President Trump is saying one thing here, and this is something else there, and there's something. Is that a strategy? Kamala Prasad to have the citizens confused? They don't know who to trust because let me tell you, a lot of people don't trust you. So you balling, oh, we don't have nothing to worry about. I think people don't believe. And then they come in and saying one thing here, one thing there. They're following Trump playbook by the T. I want to tell Ms. Kamala Prasad something. I'm talking to you as a woman. We live in a world that is patriarchal. When the shit hit the fan, you as a woman, they go hang your ass out to dry, you know. The system as it is, they go ease up with a man and that whatever, but a woman, they will hang your ass to try to take it when you look around. Your backside not up a gum tree. Okay? So that international person said that. And next one say that TNT abandoning CARICOM for the US. And this was in The Guardian 2 days ago. Venezuelan international relations expert Andres, me and godmother, you know, Pierre Antoni is criticizing TNT for dismantling its traditional relationship with most of the CARICOM as its relationship with the US gets deeper. Tony gave this view on Friday night on the Venezuelan program, Cara y Cara, in an interview with Venezuelan journalist, who go look the name, Coldovaldo Hernandez. Last week, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad admitted that she no longer considers CARICOM a reliable partner and there will be a realignment of TNT policies in the future. During the interview, when asked if TNT will be used as a proxy by the US in the event of a war, Pierre Antoni argue that TNT government is allowing the country to be used by the Americans as a base, which separates it from the rest of the region. Trinidad and Tobago is taking a position similar to that of Guyana and very far removed from the rest of the Caribbean, and even from CARICOM and the English-speaking CARICOM. It is striking, for example, that small islands like Antigua and Barbuda and St. Lucia have taken a dignified stance in this geopolitical context, Piero Tony explained. Speaking about TNT's struggling economy, he said TNT was encountering problems due to its huge dependence on natural gas, which has led to its deposits being depleted, and so it needs Venezuelan resources. Hence, the pressure exerted by Prime Minister herself to activate the agreement in order to connect to Dragon Field through the high which they or Shell own northeast of Trinidad. It's just a few kilometers away because without Venezuela gas, Trinidad economy would collapse, Perotoni commented. And he went on to say other things. Earlier, the Caribbean is a zone of peace. And no, that cannot be Sessa and her government wants to carry on and innocent people in Trinidad and Tobago, it's going to work. It cannot work. We don't deserve all of that. We didn't vote for that. We didn't vote for that. Let me continue. So, listen to what this young lady speaking about Kamala Pasabi says. A woman is speaking out.
Our major news sources in Trinidad and Tobago are posting that our active soldiers, our active duty soldiers, are being called to report to duty at different military points in Trinidad and Tobago. When they asked our Prime Minister, who y'all voted into power, y'all, not me, y'all, about what she could tell us about that and what she knows, she said, I don't know. Nobody told me anything about that. I don't know. Okay.
Young people talking out. Young people talking out. Listen to foreign news reporters. Listen to this.
What have they been saying about this situation?
Well, up to last night, not much had been said publicly, at least. There was a written statement from the Prime Minister's office yesterday in which she essentially blamed the opposition for warmongering here. She said there was nothing to worry about and that, you know, there's a boat, a warship from the U.S. that's expected to dock in this port behind me. And she said the reason that was happening was basically to show the close ties between the two countries. Now, today we had exclusive access, as you said, to the defense minister. We asked him first and foremost who had decided, who had requested that this ship come here. And he said it was at the U.S. request. He did say that it had been planned beforehand, that this wasn't new, but he wasn't able to tell us when it had been planned, just said that it was a request of the U.S. Beyond that, he expressed or echoed, rather, what the Prime Minister has said over the last few weeks, which is essentially complete support for the actions of Donald Trump and the U.S. in the Caribbean Sea. Let's listen to what he had to say.
If the U.S. has deemed a country to be or persons operating as narco-traffickers and deem them terrorists and they are waging a war on terror, then it's up to them to come to that conclusion because, as you understand it, law is basically all about interpretation. You might not agree with their interpretation, but if their interpretation is that we've deemed these people to be narco-traffickers and these narco-traffickers, to be terrorist organizations and they are waging war on them, that's their prerogative. It hasn't happened in our waters. It has happened in international waters.
We're not done. It's raining now. Well, there you hear. It's basically, it just started raining here. So, but what basically he said encapsulates the position of the Trinidadian government. And now Trinidad is really between a rock and a hard place right now because really its only ally in the region is the United States right now. There was a recent statement from CARICOM, which is essentially a regional body of Caribbean, English-speaking Caribbean nations, and they all came together and said they wanted peace in the region. And interestingly, Trinidad and Tobago did not sign that statement.
Yeah, but Kamala Prasad, the Prime Minister of this country, want you to believe she never said she coming out of CARICOM. We still in being CARICOM. We just going to look at other countries and all them. You're sending messages, someone just like Trump here. You align yourself to Trump. When the shit hit the fan, madam, as a woman, they go hang your ass out to dry. Those are they say? Okay. So that's foreign news people talking, not me, not Jennifer Bedrick, and let me talk the thing. That is foreign news people talking there. Listen to this one too. Listen to this.
Airstrikes by the United States of America on boats in the Caribbean and in the Pacific violate international human rights law. Over 60 people have reportedly been killed in a continuing series of attacks carried out by U.S. armed forces against boats in the Caribbean and the Pacific since early September, in circumstances that the UN Human Rights Chief says find no justification in international law. These attacks and their mounting human cost are unacceptable. The United States should investigate and, if necessary, prosecute and punish individuals accused of serious crimes in accordance with the fundamental rule of law principles of due process and fair trial, for which the U.S. has long stood.
Right? They're talking about that, but Kamala Prasad, the sister, said kill them violently. There's no law nowhere that drug traffickers are to be executed. They are to be held and taken to court, and however it turn out, it turn out. El Chapo, that the man name, El Chapo, one of the biggest drug dealers of modern time, and he in jail. He's not executed. Kamala Prasad is joining with the American administration and saying about kill people violently. Okay, listen to this. This is for Frederick talk.
Tonight, I want to explain a small country. Hello and welcome to Times XP. I am Dhritiyatri, and we are going to talk about a small country that could become the biggest loser in the US-Venezuela conflict. Trinidad and Tobago. Just 1.4 million people. Two small islands, tiny in size, but one of the most important energy hubs in the Caribbean. And here's the problem. If America and Venezuela go into a direct war, Trinidad and Tobago is stuck in the middle of the power struggle that it cannot survive. Let me break this down for you. Two islands, a population of just 1.4 million people. As I just said, most Indians in India don't even realize this country has one of the biggest Indo-Caribbean population. Almost 40% of the population is of Indian origin. Yes. Trinidad was once a British colony. It gained independence in 1962. Its wealth for decades came from oil and natural gas, and today almost 40% of their entire government income is from energy. This is not a tourist island, by the way. It's an energy island. Trinidad and Tobago's economy lives on gas. Not tourism, not tech, gas. The country's LNG sector is one of the largest suppliers in the entire Western Hemisphere. 40% of all government revenue comes from energy. Now, if that steam gets disrupted, the country collapses financially. And where is some of the gas coming from? The Dragon gas field inside Venezuela's maritime zone. Trinidad needs access to that gas for future production in 2024. The energy giant Shell and Trinidad's LGC were negotiating with Venezuela to unlock that particular field after the US eased the sanction. But now, war clouds. Trump has deployed 10,000 troops, warships, special forces to the Caribbean. Russia has now inserted military aircraft into Venezuela. The Caribbean all of a sudden looks like a Middle East. Yes, small islands surrounded by superpower weapon. And Trinidad is right there, trapped between Venezuelan territorial water and American military assets. You know, if conflict explodes here, gas deal freezed. Investment stops, companies panic, LNG terminals slow down. This means that Trinidad will lose billions of dollars in the next 5 years. Not millions, billions, because energy investors hate war zones. This also hits their own people. Trinidad already has young unemployment rate that is nearly 9%. It has inflation above 4.7%. If the gas sector gets hit, that number jumps into double digits immediately. And once the jobs are gone, crime rises, immigration rises, social tensions explodes. Also, there is a second danger here. Venezuela already hosts one of the world's deepest pro-Russian network. If war erupts, Russian and maybe, just maybe, Iranian assets also, they can use Venezuelan ports and airstrikes. United States military assets will respond from nearby Caribbean water. And guess who is sitting right in the middle of this two-sided geographical war? Trinidad and Tobago. This island could become the parking lot between the two militaries. Scared investors leave, tourists die, ports get militarized, sea routes get blocked. This is not fantasy. This is exactly what happened to Lebanon in 1980s. It got crushed between Syria, Israel and the US's interest. A small nation becomes the battlefield of giants. So yes, the headline says US-Venezuela tension, but the real economic body bag could be carried out by Trinidad and Tobago. A country that did nothing wrong, a country that simply wanted to sell gas, and now the gas is surrounded by warships. The question nobody in the mainstream media is asking is very, very simple. When superpowers fight for oil and gas, what happens to the little countries who are sitting on the top of that energy? Tonight, Trinidad and Tobago is learning the answer the hard way.
Everybody know we business with dirty and stink all in the road. Tell that beautiful young lady, Trinidad and Tobago did nothing wrong. It's the government. Kamla Pasabi Sessa and she members of parliament and she supporters, it's them who doing all the wrong things, not we. So we were supposed to stay neutral in this whole thing. So those at Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago ain't do nothing wrong. It's the government of Trinidad and Tobago do something wrong. Why I didn't mention, I just curious, mention who is the prime minister of this country. I'm just asking a question. So anyways, I'm seeing here in the newspaper Guardian yesterday, Dukaran wants innovative diplomacy to restore peace. A former Foreign Affairs Minister is calling for greater diplomacy as tensions rise between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago following Prime Minister Kamla Pasabi-Sessa's support for US President Donald Trump's anti-narcotic campaign in the Caribbean. In his speech address at the Rapid Fire Kids for RKF dinner at Achievers Banquet Hall in San Fernando on Saturday, economist Winston Dukaran said the geopolitics playing out in the waters on TNT and Venezuela is a reminder that politics, like life, is unpredictable in its journey. However, he said, peace and development work in synergy and dialogue is powerful. The challenges are real, but so too are possibilities. So it is time once again for innovative diplomacy and back-channel diplomacy to take the front seat and to ensure that peace and stability in the region is ensured, he advised. The rhetoric between the TNT and Venezuelan government in recent weeks has been heavy as the Nicolas Maduro regime accuses Kamla Pasabi-Sessa government of supporting a US-based attempt to overthrow the commenting RKD President Kevin Ratiram, and if I'm not mistaken, that is Ratiram brother. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if he's the one who was alleged. Ratiram, not this Ratiram, the next Ratiram who is in the UNC government. I don't know if in Dr. Devan Maharaj affidavit where he speak about a UN high official or member or something so is involved in human trafficking. I don't know if it's that individual he was talking about. Not the man, not the Kevin Ram thing here. The next one, I don't know. I don't know. I just asked a question. So he said that Kevin Ratiram and his team said they are a reminder that the power of ideas, once set alight, could never be extinct. I don't know, we talking about something different. Anyway, I was Ran, who was a good Minister of Finance, not like this one. I think this is the dumbest UNC ever put forward. Anyway, that's the next story. So anyway, so he said diplomacy. Everybody saying diplomacy, and this our Prime Minister, she war. And then tell me she don't want war. But I'm telling you again, Miss Canopus, I'll be sister, take it from me as a woman. They will hang your ass outside to dry. Wait. Antigua Barbuda Prime Minister, this is what he would have said. 22 hours ago, listen 22 again, but today, in The Guardian, Antigua Prime Minister wants TNT may breach treaty of Chagaramas with duty hikes. So Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown has warned that while Trinidad and Tobago's recent increase in import duty on products may be acceptable for health reasons, any wider application could violate the Treaty of Chagaramas. Brown also cautioned that as the supermarkets of the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago could face a boomerang effect if the policy is mishandled. Speaking yesterday, Brown reminded my dear friend Kamala of the need to strengthen regional progression, to strengthen regional integration. We are all part of the same community and history, and we have to preserve those relations, he said. There's a need to strengthen the integration movement, not fracture it. His comment followed TNT announcement last week that import duties on CARICOM made malt beverages, beer, rum, cigarette, and tobacco will be increased by 100%. Planning Minister Kendi Sarat Singh, he's a jumper. Look, anyway, Kendi Sarat Singh said the measure responded to concerns from the local manufacturing sector, which said that the previous tariff structure put them at an unfair disadvantage. Sarat Singh also cited the health risks associated with these products as justification for the hike. On the duty increase, Brown said he would examine the Treaty of Chagaramas to determine the move breaches its provision on the free movement of goods. From a technical perspective, the increase may seem necessary, said, but if it goes beyond health protection, it could bring into focus TNT obligation under the treaty and may constitute a violation. TNT would not want to see its status as a supermarket of the region eroded, especially if tariff increases hurt it more than other territories in the region. And he went on to say a little more. Brown, in my opinion, I don't think Congress government care about what you're talking about. Them in business. Them just doing anything. Anything goes. Because when she did say about Trinidad was not an ATM machine when she was the prime minister back then, that created an issue where Jamaica was pulling all because of the shell, because that was one of the greatest buyers of we goods, we local goods from the manufacturer. Me and here the manufacturing sector, they come out and say nothing. But they want to be talking now about the duty tax. Look, I want to ask you again, is it because it's Indian and Indian? I just asking a question because the way all this thing going, if you're an Indian in this country, crack or smoke your pipe, that what they vote for? Let me continue. So again, I want to applaud Mr. David Mohammed, Mr. David Abdullah. He continues to advocate, and this is what he would have said. I hear no other union leader All of them head like it stick up Kamala backside. Asking a question. I said like it. I'm making an analogy. It is, all right. So this was 2 days ago in the news. This civil society to call for end to U.S. military buildup in region. Several groups were gathered with First Square Port of Spain November the 9th to call for an end to the U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean region for peace in the region. The announcement was made by Movement for Social Justice MSJ political leader David Abdullah in a statement October 28. This military deployment by the U.S. started just over 2 months ago with a number of destroyers with guided missile capabilities, a nuclear submarine, several amphibious land, and some 4,000 military personnel. Abdullah said, since then, these very substantial military assets have been increased. B-52 bombers and F-35 jet fighter plane was sent to Puerto Rico. He added, the aircraft carrier USS Gerald Ford and its strike group are now en route to the Caribbean to join these forces. There will likely to be more than 10,000 military personnel located now in our region. Abdullah said the rhetoric from those on who this deployment has taken place has been abundantly clear. On October 31st, the US President Donald Trump dismissed reports about an imminent US military strike on Venezuela. On the same day, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar said she had no information about this or about reports on TNT Defense Force personnel were called to base. Persad-Bissessar urged the population to remain calm and government will provide information as it becomes available. Abdullah said the Venezuelan government has begun military and is soon expected to receive 5,000 anti-aircraft missiles from Russia. Jesus Christ. He added Colombia has also started to prepare its military for attack and strengthen its coastal defenses. Abdullah repeated concerns about Trinidad and Tobago suffering from any U.S. Venezuela conflict. This will mean a greater number of migrants coming to TNT. Our local business environment will be affected. Investors will think twice about investing here. Trade shipping and its air route become compromised. Tourism can be done as people decide not to travel for Carnival. Abdullah said with a very real possibility of a war taking place on our doorstep. More and more citizens have been speaking up. Many are calling for us to do something. He added that this is why several groups will gather at Woodford Square November the 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. to hold a vigil of peace. Abdullah called to end hostilities and maintain the Caribbean as a zone of peace. Persad-Bissessar has openly supported the U.S. military deployment of the Southern Caribbean and U.S. military strikes on alleged drug vessel coming out of Venezuela. She has disagreed with other Caribbean leaders about the Caribbean being a zone of peace and supported the Trump administration line that the deployment is an anti-narcotic exercise. The group involved in the vigil will include the concerned Muslims of TNT, Emancipation Support Committee on the front of the sea and the MSJ. Well, this is a vigil for peace. When we had COVID-19, when we had SOE and everything locked down, people came out for Andrea Barrett's death, God rest his soul, and they had a vigil. So I don't think it will be fair that when MSJ and these groups come out to stand up for a vigil of peace, that anybody come and interrupt it and cause problem, because under COVID-19, we had to stay inside and they couldn't congregate and all them things. All of them congregate and thing, Philip Alexander, Griffith, and all of them and come out in the thousands for vigil for Andrea Barrett. So I don't see why that this vigil of peace will not be allowed to be held peacefully by people who come in looking for peace. But we'll wait and we'll see. Let me continue. So let me tell you this, people. Venezuelan leader. Imagine that the Venezuelan opposition leader Let me find it. Just now. Excuse me. I'm going to do great harm. What is it? When I see this, I say, but what the Venezuelan opposition MP condemns Kamala over U.S. military support. That the opposition in Venezuela. Venezuelan opposition parliamentarian Jose Brito has joined Caracas in condemning Prime Minister Kamala Sessa for supporting U.S. military operation in the Caribbean. Brito, a member of the opposition party Primero Venezuela, made the remarks during a debate in Venezuela National Assembly last week. His comments follow escalating Caracas, which included travel ban preventing Sessa from entering Venezuela and criticism from senior Venezuelan officials over TNT growing alliance with the United States. They generate disgust when they surrender to the most perverse interests. I'm talking, amongst others, about the new Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago, Brito said. This lady openly said they should continue killing citizens, shooting in the Caribbean, even when two of the deceased are Trinidadian nationalities. Brito also described TNT as disloyal, citing Venezuela's long-standing solidarity with this country. He accuses the twin island nation of allowing its territory to be used as a base for hostile operation against Venezuela, Colombia, and others who raise their voices of dignity. The parliamentarian further denounced extremist elements within Venezuelan opposition, calling them cockroaches. He said those worms are the ones who think by crawling they can get perks. In the end, they will be stepped on like cockroaches. And remember, cockroaches are not avoided, but out of fear. Just now. And remember, cockroaches are not avoided out of fear, but out of disgust. Brito concluded his remark by addressing Prime Minister Sessa directly, quoting revolutionary Emiliano Zapata. If you want to be an eagle, fly high. If you want to be a worm, go and crawl. But don't scream when they step on you. Papa, you hear? Hey, watch me now. That will we reach. Nobody don't talks about Dr. Key Christopher Rowley. That will we reach. Venezuela reserve the right to strike if necessary. Oh God. Jesus, Father. This is now the defense earlier. We're going a little late today. This now is November the 3rd Daily Express. Venezuela reserves the right to take necessary action, says Cabillo. Venezuelan Minister of Justice Diosdado Cabillo has advised Kamala Sessa to refrain from meddling in Venezuela affairs, adding that it reserves the right to take necessary action and amidst planned deportation and U.S. tension in the region. He said that many Trinidadians currently live in Venezuela and visit the country daily for trade, but are not mistreated by Venezuelan government. And although Foreign Affairs Minister Sean Sobel, God, Jesus, talking about here and start to feel down. Last week insisted that diplomatic relations between the two countries remain. Cabello yesterday accused the country of threatening and attacking Venezuela and then pretending to maintain good relations. Cabello meant when he asked about potential deportation being considered by the government of Trinidad and Tobago during the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, PSUV, on Monday morning. Respondent Cabello claimed that the government had taken a stance of forming a front against Venezuela despite historical relations and trade between the two. Yet we have been attacked by Trinidad and Tobago. I did not attack all here, mister. Let me put it all there clear. Me, the government please start government that support us. I would like all to start to put that and keep me out all the lady. I'm neutral. This is Caribbean as zone of peace. Me not getting in people business. I don't want to thief nobody thing. I don't want what is not mine. Leave me out all the thing, please. Yet we have been attacked by Trinidad and Tobago, by the hands and by the voice of the lady who is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who show no regard for the long history of good relations between our nation, he said. It will not, listen, oh God, he went on to say all kind of, look, Olia, okay. Olia sit on silent. They have been asked me say, can't talk. Don Maduro is saying, they have been asked me say, can't talk, and then doing all kind of thing. Them doing all kind of thing, and then we tie up in something that we know nothing what we don't want. Look at Jamaica. Jamaica just had a hurricane. Hurricane Melissa. Whole Jamaica mash up. It looking like war pass through there. And then natural disaster. All you want a man-made war in the Caribbean here? And when America going back, we down here with what? Building, blow up, all kind of thing. Children dying on we hand, children injured, the elderly, the hospital, everything. That's all they want in this country, why? That is what all they want, they want comfortable with. We don't want a war. We're not about that. It's peace, diplomacy. We talk it out, unity. We just have a little thing. But this Prime Minister joining with a war and getting herself all up in Donald Trump and in business. Use a little cockroach in the business. You feel they consider you a minority in America. You think they make America great again studying any Indian? Them is only about white people. You pushing up yourself under Donald Trump like if he like Indian people. Hey! So this is Maduro now, President Maduro now. November the 4th. I just read a little piece. Maduro. PM Kamala has done great harm. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has accused Prime Minister Kamala of deliberately doing great harm within the region and destroying historic bond between the two countries, as she yesterday reiterated her support for U.S. military action in the Caribbean. Speaking during an interview with Venezuelan media, VTV, Maduro referred to mass demonstrations held throughout Venezuela states in the aftermath of a government decision to sever gas ties with Trinidad and Tobago and declare Pasar persona non grata. Ruling party, the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, PSUV, last week called for protests criticizing Pasar following the docking of US-guided missile USS Gravely in Trinidadian water, and more than 10, at that time, lethal boat strikes in the Caribbean that killed dozens. So he went on to say other things and all that. All of Pasar and UNC supporters who find this as an excitement and America go see what we and all that. Look at the history of America. Look at all the wars and them that happened. Look how they leave Grenada when they went and all the invasion and all that kind of thing. So if all you feel they go get a white man, if some of the Indian girl and all the Indian woman feel they go get a white man, army man, and all their life go be better because when they come on shore, they go get man. Or man thinking vice versa, they go get woman. And all they want to bring me back to the day working for the Yankee dollar. And with Sparrow sing about Gina and Dinah. If that is all they feel, that's how it is, and it's a fancy story and a Bollywood story. This is real life. Think about what happened in Jamaica and study that is one. What happened to Trinidad after America leave, and tell me for the Civil War. Only one man, white man. That all want white man or white woman? About peace? I just asking a question. Let me continue. For the time going on. So I want a little listen to this.
By admirably steering away from Maduro's Scylla, she may find herself trapped in the whirlpool of Charybdis, President Trump. That is, the serious legal issues that he and she, if only by association, may have to answer for. When Trump ordered the first deadly strike on a boat moving into the Caribbean in September, Prasad Besesar gave her full-throated approval. Drug traffickers should be killed violently, she said. Her frustration is understandable, but just about every expert will tell you the U.S. has shattered a global norm that demands civilian criminals be subject to law enforcement, not military execution, even if the Trump administration labels them as narco-terrorist combatants. What's more, oftentimes those Venezuelan drug boats carry innocents, such as migrants and women who are being sex trafficked. When Navy Admiral Alvin Halsey recently retired as head of the U.S. Military Southern Command here in Doral, he was said to have been very uncomfortable with the potential liability that came from overseeing Trump's Caribbean campaign. And that's the Charybdis come Trump vortex Prasad Besesar herself risks being sucked into if she hasn't been already. Such is life in the serpent's mouth.
I want to tell you the ICC. The International Criminal Court is a permanent court that prosecutes individuals for the gravest crimes: genocide, war crimes, crime against humanity, and the crime of aggression. It was established by Rome Statute, a treaty adopted in 1998, and began operation in 2002 to end impunity of perpetrators and supplement national legal systems as the court of last resort. The ICC is an independent organization, not part of the United Nations, but it can cooperate with the UN. Key function and structure: the mandate: the ICC investigates and tries individuals for the most serious international crimes. Establishment: it was established by the Rome Statute, a treaty that was open for signature in 1998. Jurisdiction: as a court of last resort, it acts when national courts are unable to or unwilling to prosecute. Structure: the court is comprised of 18 judges, the presidency, the office of the prosecutor, and the assembly state parties. This is the court's management, oversight, and legislative body made up of representatives from states that have ratified the Rome Statute. What it does: persecute individuals. The ICC can prosecute individuals regardless of their official capacity or for international crimes. Support victims. Victims can submit information to the prosecutor about crimes within the court's jurisdiction. Notable cases: the ICC has ongoing cases and has issued arrest warrants, including for individuals in conflicts in places like Ukraine and Darfur. Challenges: the court faces challenges such as ensuing arrests, securing cooperation from member states, and managing its workload. So I saw some other stuff here about it. What we have here. Okay, not that. Let me see if I get it open. So it's not me saying it. It has little talk about the ICC and Colonel Prasad Besesar, because the crime being carried out, the extrajudicial killings, is not me saying so. People saying so. International people saying so. Experts saying so, not Jennifer Fetcher. So let me see if I could find this. Okay. Seeming to be able to open that link. I'll have to get it for another day. I want to tell you, I want to bring back this solid memory quick. quick, because they're talking about PNM and crime, and PNM involved with crime and whatever. Listen to this.
Let me just take you. Those of you who've been taking them seriously, let's take a little walk down memory lane. One, they find him with so much money going into his account that they ask him, how you explain that? Police investigation, I'm an only child and my mother gives me money for my birthday. That is one. The other one, Justice James Abood gave a 3-hour judgment about mishandling of public monies in a ministry. His name was called 13 times in that judgment, and he was asked to put in your defense. You have a case to answer. Another one, his colleague, a minister who lives abroad, came home to assist the police with a human trafficking matter and named his colleague as being involved and knowing about human trafficking. He got promoted from trafficker to the whole blinking market. Another one, he's on $1 million bail for facilitating the defrauding of the treasury. And he is leader of opposition business.
Okay. I didn't make that video, but I remember those. And David, no doctor. So when only hear them saying Dr. David Lee, just shoots. He's not a doctor. He got an honorary doctorate from some university. I don't know if I can't remember if it's Southern University or something. He ain't no doctor, right? He has been rearrested for the same thing with the car and whatever. But they're talking about crime and the PNM. All you remember this? That was one of the biggest march held in modern times. And Dr. King Christopher Rowley would have led that march at the time he was opposition leader. Right? So that is why they have us under SOE, because they're afraid people will come out in the streets again, that amount of people. That's what is happening. The 10,500 CPEP workers, the ERP workers, all the workers who been fired, the 40,000 workers who have been fired, other disgruntled people. Are they afraid of that the young people will come out, the Gen Zs, they call them, would come out because of the fact that they've been lied to? Is it that they're afraid of that? Why they have us in a constant state of SOE, which seemed and appeared to be the crime plan? I just asking a question. I want to read this Vengeance and Moko. Vengeance and Moko is not a specific well-known movie or book, but rather a common phrase rooted in the rich folklore of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. The Moko refers to the Moko Jumbi, a revered tilt walking character in Carnival, and the phrase is an ominous saying, warning that karma or divine retribution will befall someone who has committed a wrong deed. The law of the Moko Jambi, origin and meaning. The Moko Jambi traces its origins to West Africa, where it is known as Naomo Kawoya. The word diviner or refers to an Orisha deity of retribution in the Congo language, while Jambi is a Caribbean word for a spirit or ghost. According to tradition, the Moko Jambi is a spiritual protector who, from its towering heights and stilts, watches over the community and wards of evil spirits. The law says the first Moko walked across the sea from Africa to guide enslaved people to the Caribbean with wisdom and knowledge. The saying, the phrase, the vengeance of Moko will fall on you, is uttered by older folks to suggest that a person who has done evil will eventually face a natural unfortunate justice or karma. The Moko, unlike other Jambis, natural order of the world to bring about this retribution. While not a single major film or book title, okay, I don't know how to go for the whole thing, whatever the case may be, right? The phrase is frequently used as a literary or cultural reference in Trinidad and Tobago newspaper headlines and opinion pieces, often in a political context to describe a situation where a person or group is experiencing negative consequences for past acts. Before I end and say what I'm saying, let me just put up this. The young people of Trinidad and Tobago, them young one children, they will vote. Them young one and them, they know when they see leader. And they know and understand when they feel that vibes and connectivity. So this here, putting on stage, is a picture of my member of parliament shooting with this young child here. He would have written about it on page, and it says, as I left Port of Spain City Hall, this was 2 days ago. As I left Port of Spain City Hall this afternoon, Port of Spain North Centre and West Women's League bingo, I noticed driving past looking at me. As I walked to my vehicle and got into the same vehicle, as I walked to my vehicle and got in, the same vehicle pulled up next to me and the driver said they raced around Woodford Square to catch me as his young daughter saw me and whether I would take a photo with her. The first thing she told me after introducing herself was, if I could vote, I would vote for you, Mr. Stuart Young. Then she proceeded to strike the pose, the photo pose. Trinidad and Tobago, I love you, Stuarty. Tell you to this day, this has garnered 8,700 likes, 879 comments, and 204 shares. Young people know what they want, and they will not be silenced. I want to say to my ancestors who watch over us, my African ancestors who watch over us, vengeance and Moko. Vengeance, Moko, and them who want to bring war to Trinidad and Tobago, and who join in with the US to do the wrong thing instead of joining with CARICOM, joining with our neighbors, joining with our friends, and saying that this is a zone of peace and that we want peace and that we will use diplomacy, we would use mediation, we would use conflict resolution to deal with our issues. I call on my ancestors, my African ancestors, to bring the vengeance and against them. In Hinduism, it's called karma. We are the vengeance of Moko upon all of them who want nothing good for this country. And all we want to do is live in peace. Let me see all who here. The 460 comment, Papa, all the real talking up a storm. All the real talking of a store. Tap, 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 tap. What happened? I was on screen just now. What happened? I just feel like I'll come back or some kind of thing. Hey, Rockman. Let me see. I'm going to the top. So, MH37, Althea, Brian. Oh gosh, the thing going so fast. Mr. Gibson, Brenda, Roslyn, Allison, Satian Prime. Why is the lead of the PNM lighting Diwali Tia with these Indian folks? We're talking. Why was the lead? Girl, Tia Prime, you know what you're talking about now? Anon 001, Angela Joseph. Is it Joseph? You think I'm going so fast? Sarah Richards, Rookman, Gangan. Hey, I remember my hot lady on Charlotte Street, Capgalo. Well, watch me. She have a food place too. Only go and buy one only in town for me, please. It'll smell real good. If I say it meat and I buy from Cherry meat and thing. So when only go about the cap and thing too, right on Capscolo, right on Charlotte Street. If you're walking in another direction, it's before Duke Street on your left hand side. And if you're walking down in a southerly direction, it is on your right-hand side after Duke Street. Yeah, corner there on Charlotte Street. Go and enjoy the very delicious meals. It'll smell delicious, it tastes delicious, I say so. Rookman, Joyce, Vernie, who again? Hey, so it's Angela Richards, Brian Batiste, Annette, Ronnie, who is this? Jimmy. Who again? Julie, Shirley, Carol, Carla, Angela Sobers, Judy, John, everybody. Sandra M. And let me call my peoples from Facebook. I forget only not have a list. Whether only they or not, I call them only out. Only. Let me call all the name. I can't forget only. Today I bounce up a lady who does listen to my live and thing. If in a Chinese store. Let me tell you this something. How we bounce up. I go to a Chinese store to buy yourself pot and thing. By the time I went in, and if you see this big dog I see, if you see how big this dog is, but behind the counter thing, whatever. All right. I go in there today. All of the dog get away and come in the store. Let me tell you something, the dog's so big. The dog began to like control like something from the mountain, some wolf or something. The dog in rush running to go by a fella who did a little higher than me in the store. It pushed me. I fall on all the ways and then thank God it wasn't glass ways and thing. It was like bucket and thing. I fall and I stick in a bucket. And I said, God, the dog turned on from the fella and turned to me. And I holding up all my bag and then because I said Jesus Christ, if you have to buy to ever you go buy the bag and then when I try to study what I get out of the store. And people say, but oh God, this dog and thing here, the Chinese woman, only don't know about animal and thing. He just smelling weed. Listen, you know your dog. We don't know your dog. To talk about it smelling weed, that dog that size, like some Saint Bernard or some kind of damn thing, whatever it is, it's frightening. I did get frightened. My heart started to race and started to think. When I get up my leg and I'm shaking. I see the woman, I tell the woman, I saw one Miss Lady, my leg and I'm shaking. She says, she on too. And then she said, you is Jenny? I said, yeah. And then she tell me something. I ain't going to tell you what she tell me. But let me tell you something till it was not good. I woke up to get my car, my heart still racing, my foot and them weak. I tell the driver, so God help me put my foot in the car and I can't even move my foot. Hey, it was not a good experience. All I do better than that in that store in Charlotte Street, please. Secure that thing. That thing is a monster. It might be friendly to all you. We didn't feel friendly. I just didn't bawl. I just brought out, oh God. The fella said something to like he did, like so much shock. Listen, hey, that wasn't good enough. I didn't feel good for the rest of the day. My belly was hurting, my head hurting, everything that hurting. If all this did that size of that dog, and if you check me, I tell the fella, so God help me, pull me out of the bucket and we can stick in the bucket, you know, fall out. If it was glass thing and it fall and break, me then pay a cent for nothing. And if I get cut, they would have to carry me West Shore. I wasn't going for the Spain General. They would have had to carry me West Shore or carry me St. Clair Medical or St. Augustine Community Hospital. I didn't go in for the Spain General. They'll have to spend the money. But thank God, I no incident like, you know, harm myself forever. But it was not a good experience. Anywho, I want to tell you all good night. It's 8:55. We have been here a little while. Thank you all 339 on. And so it went up to 400 and whatever. Thanks for the support from everybody. Oh God, and let me call my people's name. The list full on just now. Let me call them quick. Margaret Davison, Yvette, Angela, Ginger, Lorna, Sarah, what I call Sarah, right? Emmeline, Erica, Keith, Charles, my whole family from Pune, Anne, Shepherd, Ophelia Boyce, Andrew, Allison, Helen Restaurants, Pleasantville, Roxanne, King, McGill, Melka, Bolty, Hadara, Ruthven, Dr. Lloyd, Straker, Lucy Brown, Cheryl, Seeley, Allison, Germanas, Lazar, Francia, Pancho, E.S. Shorty, Bernadette, Angel, Jocelyn, Augusto, Cato, Victoria from Sawa, she knows she whole self, and she friend from Yips. She knows she self. She ain't working Yips in a bong, she up in Yips. McDonald, Banto, Katia Raymond, Felicia, Elise Alexander, Joyce Davis, Margaret, Angela, Denise, Thomas Farrell, can't remember where the name are right here. Rosalind, North Norgis, Diamond, Trini, Jewel, and berry sweet berries or some bacchanals or blackberries or something. Myrtle, Tessa, Cynthia, Remy, Camilla, Mary the Hair, Kevin, Mr. Nelson, my whole friend Cheryl from Pune. Everybody. Love you all. Thank you all for the support. I go on, but I'm going to tell you something. It's vengeance and Moko. Listen to this song. Let's think it easy. It's real. We want peace. We know about peace. We's a zone of peace. We don't want no war. Look at what, oh God, my mind only going back to what's going on in Jamaica right now and it's stressed people under. They have no house to live. They have nothing. Everything gone. People dying around them. Animals dying around them. Things smelling. Bodies floating. Oh God! Jesus, Lord have mercy. And that is just a hurricane. That is a hurricane. Imagine a war. We don't know nothing about that. We're not from the Middle East. We're from the Caribbean. We're from the Caribbean. Come up for sadness, Stan, your team. As a vengeance and Moko and karma in the Hindu faith. Where did us talk about? All them, I'll go and enjoy the rest of the night. Listen to this. Director, put up the thing. I ain't seen the thing. Put it up where you. Put up the song.
Ancestors, we call on you to fight the fight on our behalf. Ancestors, we call on you to walk on our enemies. Asheo. All the way from Africa land, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk